What's up, it's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today I'll be going over my starting 11 for the USMNT national team game against Japan coming up. And a few caveats going into this lineup. We have three major injuries going into this. We have Tim Weah out with an injury, Jedi Robinson, and it was recently announced that Yunus Musa is out of the squad due to injury. Johnny Cardoso has been called in to replace him. Now, that being said, while those injuries are pretty tough, it does make the squad a lot easier to make, in my opinion. So here's my starting 11. In goal, I'm going to be going with Matt Turner. In center back, I got a partnership of Chris Richards and Cameron Carter-Vickers. On the right, we've got Sergiño Dest, Sam Vines at left back, Tyler Adams at the 6, dual eights of Weston McKennie and Luca de la Torre, Brenden Aaronson on the right, Christian Pulisic on the left, and Josh Sargent up top. I do want to say that Giovanni Reyna is a starter come the World Cup. He's too talented to leave out of the squad, and we need to have him in the team. However, last time he was a bit injured and we brought him into a camp and played him 90 minutes, we had him hurt for the entire year. So I think he should be coming off the bench on a minutes restriction. Hopefully he'll build up some chemistry, but I don't think we should be starting him for this particular international window, though I believe he'll be a starter in the near future. So now to explain the choices I made in the starting 11, I think we need to focus on the actual World Cup. We're going to be playing Japan, but we shouldn't be building our team around just some random friendly we're going to be playing. And at the World Cup, I don't think we should be thinking about playing the Germanys of the world, of France, of Brazil, or honestly even England. I think the game that's going to make or break our tournament, the game that will decide if we can advance to the next round, is going to be our game against Wales. And that's the reason why I have Cameron Carter-Vickers and Josh Sargent starting. Wales, while they are a very good team, and we honestly got kind of screwed over having them in our group, they really should have been in a much lower pot, but just with how their fixtures got postponed, they end up being a fourth seed and end up in a really bad group for us. But I look at that team, and I see a lot of players in that squad, especially the defense, that are championship level. They are second tier of England level players. I look at that squad, and no disrespect to these players, I'm a fan of some of them, but Ethan Ampadu and Joe Rodon are center backs. They're not exactly Premier League regulars. And I look at the form that Josh Sargent is in the championship, and against similar level of players that this Wales team has, and I think he'll be able to score against this Welsh side. This isn't me saying, oh, I really want him starting over Pefok or Jesus Ferreira because I think he's a better player. I look at that one game coming up, the game that I think is going to be the most important for us, and I think he gives us the best chance to succeed. We've seen that MLS form to the championship. It kind of doesn't translate too well. Pariola really struggled. Daryl Dika, he had a bit of success, but injuries were a big part of him as well. So I think that we should take the surefire way, a guy who we know can put in goals against this level opposition. And even if he hadn't, he's still a very good presser, get after that defense. We will still want to put some pressure on Ben Davies. He's a very talented player. But I think everything, how it looks, the game that we're playing, I think that Josh Sargent is our best choice at striker right now. And it's similar for Cameron Carter-Vickers. I see this attack, and it's like probably lower Premier League level more than a high championship level, but I think that's what Cameron Carter-Vickers is doing. Celtic are playing at a pretty good level. We've seen him up against Rangers, a very good squad, and he does well. He can handle himself. And I look at the pace of an attacker like a Daniel James or a Brennan Johnson, and I don't know how Walker Zimmerman handles that. And I think that Cameron Carter-Vickers is our best choice right now. Just, again, not even talking about the quality of players overall, just strictly the opposition that we're playing. I'd be going with Cameron Carter-Vickers and Josh Sargent as starters at center back and striker respectively. In goal, I'm going to be going with Matt Turner. I think that he is our best shot stopper and gives us the best chance to win these games. I'd probably give Ethan Horvath a game later on, but I think people are really underrating how good Matt Turner is. He carried us to a Gold Cup title. His shot stopping was amazing. He was good coming out of his box. And I think just overall, the feeling that I have with him in net is just security. Like, other teams would be on breaks, and you would just be like, okay, well, we got Matt Turner down there. Like, you feel like the goal is protected, that he's going to be doing a good job. And to all the people who are saying, oh man, we've gone so far downhill since Tim Howard and Brad Friedel and everybody like that, I think Matt Turner might surprise them. If he really gets into his run of games, which I think he will at Arsenal, Cup games, Europa League, like he's going to be playing a good bit coming into the World Cup, I actually do feel pretty confident in Matt Turner. And I know his ability with his feet are an issue, and it is an issue. I'm not sweeping it under the rug. We're going to be struggling playing out the back if it comes to him. Let's not act like Ethan Horvath and Zach Steffen are Manuel Neuer. They've been inconsistent with the ball at their feet. I think Horvath will get a lot better as he starts to play more and more, but that's me projecting. We can't say for sure that will happen. And honestly, if we're just talking about distribution, like, we're playing Japan. They've got a dual national there, Zion Suzuki, who is going to be a very talented player in the near future. I think Gabriel Slonina is the only American goalkeeper prospect I have ahead of him right now. Like, that's somebody we have to be looking out for a distribution. But Ethan Horvath and Zach Steffen, I think it'd be an upgrade, but not as much of one. And I don't think I'd be feeling confident with them having the ball at their feet while being chased by a Daniel James, by a Brendan Johnson, by Raheem Sterling. Like, I don't think it's that much of an upgrade that we sacrifice the really good shot stopping that Matt Turner has. Though I would give Ethan Horvath a chance, like I said. Next, Sam Vines at left back. I feel like I do have to explain that. He's done pretty well in Belgium, and I think he has earned a look in the squad. I think right now the biggest question is he capable of filling in for Jedi if we need a backup left back? And if not, then we either switch to a back three or we give Sergiño Dest a chance at the left back position. We see how Joe Scally can do. We do have players who are capable of playing out of position. It's not them at their best, and it wouldn't be the best case scenario. But if Vines isn't capable of doing it, we just have Scally and Dest come into the team. He deserves this chance, though, and we need to see how he can do, because with our system as it is right now, we need a left-footed left back if we want to be at our best. So I would give Sam Vines that chance, but if not, we still have Joe Scally and Sergiño Dest. I think that's all the selections that I really need to justify, but then in terms of placing players and where they are on the field, I should talk about Brenden Aaronson on the right wing, and though I would probably prefer him definitely as a 10, probably as an 8, or definitely on the left wing, he can still do a job at that right wing, and I think it's probably the easiest place for him to break into the team. Tim Weah is probably the most winnable starting battle for him. Pulisic's obviously going to start. McKennie's going to start. I'd put Giovanni Reyna in the midfield. So I think right wing is probably the most realistic shot Brenden Aaronson has at starting in this team. And in addition, we have a lot of injuries right now, and if I want to have Gio Reyna coming off the bench, which I think we should have, if we want to have like a good team like all the way around, I think we do need to have Luca de la Torre in that midfield to just keep the quality throughout the entire starting roster. So I think Brenden Aaronson could do a good job there. He's kind of like shifted out to there, but you'd kind of have to do that in the national team. And we get to see if his crossing can really make an impact, how well he does on the final third when he's not cutting in onto his right foot. And plus, I think his work rate can help cover for Sergiño Dest. It's definitely not something that I'm thinking about. We use our wingers to attack a lot more than defend. I think that's much more important, but it's definitely a positive. And plus, the pressing, having him with Josh Sargent, I think he could work out, so it's definitely going to be fun to watch. Then Chris Richards he's going to be the left-footed center back, or left-sided center back. He's decent with his left foot enough that I think can help in the build-up. It would be ideal to have him as that right-sided center back, but I think he'll do fine. And Dest at right back, he can play at the left back position. I think you could argue that it'd be a better team if we put Dest on the left and have Joe Scally start on the right instead of Sam Vines. But as I mentioned before, I want to give Vines that chance, see if he can do this role. And Dest is at his best on the right-hand side, and he's one of our best players, so I want Sergiño Dest at his best. Yeah. And then I don't think we really have to justify Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams. We know why they're in the team. Then for guys I want to see coming off the bench, I'd really like to see Gio Reyna. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see him starting, but I don't think we can risk it at the moment. Then also Jesus Ferreira, see how he does in this team. Probably Johnny Cardoso. I want to see how he looks in that midfield. Let's get Malik Tillman on the field as well. Joe Scally. Probably see him how he does at left back if Sam Vines isn't performing. If Vines is performing, maybe try Dest on that left-hand side, Scally on the right. Like, those are the guys I'd really like to see off the bench. Maybe Acosta as well, see how he does. But yeah, that's my opinions on the squad. Starting lineup, as I mentioned, Matt Turner, Chris Richards, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Sergiño Dest, Sam Vines, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Luca de la Torre, Brenden Aaronson, Christian Pulisic, and Josh Sargent. I think it's a very good team. Hopefully it'll be good enough to at least impress in that Japan game. Like, we don't really need to win it. Like, it's a friendly. But I want to see how this team plays. And hopefully we can get some goals out of it. Hopefully we'll be able to dominate play. It's going to be a very tough matchup. I think I'll be doing a preview of Japan a bit later. But yeah, that's all I'll talk about right now. I'll see you.